miniature enthusiasts, and welcome back to Marie's Miniatures. Today we are continuing on the Taste of Life by the Wonderful World of Miniatures Corner of Happiness collection. And we started it yesterday. We got through with pretty much the base, and we worked on a sink, and I think that was about as far as we got. So sit back with your favorite beverage of choice and enjoy the build. Before we begin, I do want to say thank you to everyone watching. I have a few subscribers, so if you're out there, I want to tell you how much I do appreciate you. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. If you like this type of content and you enjoy what you watch today, please consider commenting, and subscribing so we can grow our little community. I publish every Saturday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Currently, I'm assembling kits. There will be all brands, sizes, styles. I'd eventually like to create my own miniatures as well. I do other craft projects, and I may eventually include them in the channel, but we're just gonna wait and see how that goes. And that's enough of me rambling. Let's get building. Okay, so this is where we left off. It looks like what they intend is for you to glue this on the underneath side, but it doesn't look like it fits quite right, and that looks like it's going to turn out weird. So I'm going to try inserting it through the top here, if I can get it in this space, and just sliding it down in there, because I think it's going to fit the edges better if we do it this way. And then just take it until it is flush with the top of the counter. And I'm going to try and fill those places that are in there, but I'm not all that concerned. I think it looks better than it would have the other direction. So we're just going to go with that. Okay, and that is how that turned out. Worked pretty well. Okay, so we finished that, and we are moving on to the next part. I'm setting that to the side, and this we need B2 and A31. This might be this one. And it appears we are taking this side of it, because this side has markings all on it, and it looks like we are taking this side and we are putting A134 on it. So we need the paper, it's this white one in here. So I'm kind of curious as to the point of this, seeing as how the wood is already white, so I'm not certain why we need to put white paper on top, but them's the rules. And it really is telling me not to fold that. I'm not sure why, but we're not going to fold it since it tells us not to. We're going to glue this here, and I will need my paintbrush. So I'm not going to fold it over the edge here since it seems to be telling me not to. And now we need to flip this over And it looks like we are going to put the stove here, so I need to cut that out. And this is going to go right here. So let's glue the paper. Get a little thick there. And now we're moving on to B3. Let's make sure we get the right one for this. B3, and it looks like it just has two sections. A line down the middle. Doesn't appear to be that one, maybe this one. There we go. And we need A135 for this, which will be this one here. And again, this one has the broken dotted line, but it looks like that's supposed to just, it's just supposed to go on the edge and leave that part open. We're not actually folding it over it, so. I'm gonna do this though. Okay. I did not mean to put the glue on the side with the line on it, but I think it's just going to have to be that way. It's okay. Next is we are going to take and we're going to start putting some pieces together. I think I might draw a line down here if I can find myself a pencil. Okay, so I did. I drew a line down that. It's supposed to look like two separate cabinets, so I didn't want to mess that up. Okay, so now we are taking B4, which is another one we haven't gotten out yet, and it is, I might want to measure this one. I don't think it has any markings. It's 3.3 by 1.8. Might be that one I pulled out a minute ago. There's actually two of these, so it probably is. Yep. And we are going to start, looks like assembling these. Just like this. All right, like I told you on the last one, they have a certain way, so does this. It's gonna go just like this. So I'm going to just use a toothpick and apply just a little bit of glue on these edges. There we go. We're just going to press these together and hold for a little bit. It is interesting because these pieces are as tall as this is with the edge sticking up. So that's why you're not supposed to fold it over, I'm supposing. There's that together. And then we have got this piece is going to go and attach to this piece. We're going to put glue on this edge here. Next, we are going to join these two. All right, this one is going to go behind this one. That. So. Okay, so we have this little this little section here. It sits like that. Okay, so we need part A133 next, and it looks like this is going to fill out that back side. I need to bend this. And then we're just gluing it just like that. All right, I wanted to give that a minute to kind of set up a little bit better, but now we're going to take this and I'm just going to put the glue on each edge of this. So one here or some here. And some down here. All right, and then just making these the back of these cabinets. Same way down here. There we go. Looks good. Next, we are ready for a countertop. And for that, we need B7. And B7 are two little wooden black legs, which I can see right here. I'm going to pull those out. And those are going to be attached on the underneath side of here. There, and one down here. So, just going to turn that upside down. Load a toothpick. Okay. There we are. And the other one. And then this one is going to go clear down here. And I'm going to give those a little bit to set up. Okay. I thought I was recording again and I was not, so I am sorry about this video, but I just basically went around the edge of this and I glued it around the edges and then placed it on top of here. So nothing major, it wasn't anything exciting. So according to the instructions, we now need C6, which is a silver aluminum wire. It's 7 centimeters, just one piece. So I'm guessing it's one of the ones in here. And it's telling me to cut off a little transparent cover of C6, then pull out the aluminum wire. But this is definitely what I'm looking for. I can figure out the easiest way to do this. We'll figure this out eventually. Oh. Well, it's not much longer than I need it to be now, so I better be careful with that. Okay, so I finally did get a little bit of it peeled off of there, and now I'm just pulling it out. Oh, and it does come out pretty easily once you get it going. Okay, so there is that done. And what we are doing with this is making little handles. They need to be like, we need, see here, one that is 0.6 centimeters, one that is 0.8 centimeters, or 3 that are 0.8 centimeters, and 3 that are 1.2 centimeters. So let's, this one piece I accidentally broke off that was, this one piece I accidentally broke off and then got it peeled first. I'm gonna see how long it is. And it is about 1.7, isn't that what I needed? No, 1.2. So I can cut this one down just a hair. That's pretty good. I'm gonna try and straighten this thing out if possible. And then I need to bend it into the shape of a handle. I read something, I'm trying to find, let me see if a piece of cardboard will work. There we go, that's what I need. Okay, so there's the one of the 1.2 centimeter ones. Let's cut us a couple more of those. Here, while I'm working with the wire, it helps me get that straightened out. All right, there's those 3, and then we need 3 that are 0.8. Those 3, and then one more, that's just 0.6. All right, and now all 3 of these need to be bent into handle-like shapes. Let's see if I can do it with my tweezers. Okay, that's pretty good. Quite exactly the same, but pretty darn close. Oh, a little, not bent quite enough. Let's see if that's better. There we go. Okay, we got those 3. And then we do the same thing with these. Just one more of this size. And one more. This is little teeny tiny, so I'm really trying to not do a big bend here, or there won't be anything left to it. Close enough. So now we have all of our handles made. We've just got to put them where they belong. And the ones right here are going to be two of the biggest ones. And for this, I am using my B7000 glue and tweezers. So here we go. There's the first one. Oh no. I will say I'm quite happy. I wasn't sure how to get that outer cover off the wire, and so I went to try and find a YouTube video to help myself with it. And when I went to look for one of these videos of this kit, I didn't find very many, and most of the ones I found flew through it pretty quickly. So maybe that's a sign that this might be something everybody could use. All right, so those are attached. And now it's not very clear about the rest of them, but they all go on this edge on these drawers over here. I guess it does tell me. Okay, I'm gonna set these up and hope those are good because now I need to cut out 3 pieces of C7. C7. Okay, that is beads actually, that's what that is. So we're gonna find our silver beads, and we need 3 of them. And I think I'm gonna do these before I deal with the little handles. So we need 3. I just don't think these will be in the way as much as the handles would be in the way when I try to put these on if I have the handles on first. So, and again, we are going to use our B7000 glue for these. And these are each going one on the handles for the stove. these three going down here are all three the same size. Although you may not be able to tell when I get them on because I've got them kind of funky. I'm honestly quite impressed with this because it's not perfect, but it looks pretty good. Better than I had hoped it was going to turn out. I could just get this last piece to stay. And stand up straight. Oh my. All right, so that was a chore, and I'm going to leave these sit here for a few moments and set up. Okay, so I think we are set up enough that we can go ahead and continue. Next thing is one of the power lights. So I've got to figure out where I set those. And we are going to run one of these up through this hole. Which hopefully will not be impossible to do this way, but I may end up having to, it looks like I'm gonna have to take the wires, undo the wires and redo them. It's okay, they're not that hard. So let's get one of these off of here. We're going to run those down through here. I may just leave these separated until it's actually time to light it up. That should be good. And I may end up cutting a little piece underneath here. We'll see. So we've got our light in, our cabinet made, and now it looks like we are getting ready to move on to the cabinets. But I am going to give this a moment, make sure everything's set up good before I mess with it much more. All right, once again, I thought we might get through this today, but I'm beginning to have my doubts. It just depends. We are going to work on the cabinets next, and then it looks like it gets to installation. So maybe at that point, the process will, go a little quicker. But right now we need B13, 2 B12s, and B5. We're basically going to make these into a square shape or a rectangle shape. And this is going on the bottom this direction. So I'm going to add some glue. And set them just like that. Make sure everything looks nice and lined up. All right, do the same thing with the other short one. Let's give those a little bit to set up. I think we might be good on that. So we're going to add a little more glue to the top side of these. And then we're going to place that other piece right on top. And then we'll give that some time to set up. Okay, while I'm letting that set up, I looked a little bit ahead and I see that we're going to need this piece soon. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of getting that cut out. My handy dandy magnifying glass. Okay, hopefully this isn't messed up too badly. So I think this should be set up enough now. We are going to add this to here, but I think I'm going to go ahead and add this piece of paper to this first. So I'm going to go and get some more glue and just take it all around the edge here. Here, here. Here, there. Make sure it's not overly thick. And then put this on. I do have a piece that I cut through, so I'm going to try and see if I can get it to lay right. There we go. That looks pretty good. And now this piece is going to go on top of here, so I'm going to go ahead and add more glue. That's all together. And we just are taking this and putting it right on top. Okay, and once again, let's just give this a little bit to set up. Okay, we seem to have set up enough, so I'm going to go ahead and take care of this. This is where our second light is going to go, which is coming out of this cabinet. Go just like that. And we are also taking a couple of plates and putting them up in this cabinet somehow. Looks like they're just going to stand up here, so I've got to find a way to glue those so they can stand up at a little bit of an angle. I don't know if my tweezers don't stick. There we go. Hopefully we can leave those set and they'll take care of themselves. But I also need to get this back in here. It's not hard. And if I have to, I'll leave it out until we're ready for that. Okay, so all of that is good to go. And now we are moving on to this portion, which looks like it's going to be our wall. If this may sit behind, or it might sit over this way. We'll see. Anyway, we're taking this and we are going to attach it to the wall. And these lights are going to feed through this hole. But first I am going to put glue around the outside edge. And then when we get it on there, it'll just stick, hopefully. We'll get that back in there. Before we do that, let's go ahead and thread it through here. Oh, first we have to make a hole there. It's not going to matter because the cabinet's going right over top of that, so I don't know why I'm being all that careful with it. All right, let's put this back in here again, or put it back in here for the first time. So in fact, the last time there was no hole. All right, so there's that. And then we can take this and getting my hands kind of stuck in all that glue, but it's okay. No, we can't have you falling out of there. No, no, no. Let's make sure it's in there nice and solid before we do this. Move it set. All right, we look good there. Awesome, it's coming along. So we are going to put these power wires down here, which I think I might just use some tape to cover that area. See if that'll work. Yeah, this will work just fine. That might have been something I could have used that white tape they sent me for, but that's okay. I've got this. All right, so there we are with that. Okay, so now we are going to take this, and it is getting inserted into here, through this hole right here. Do you want to make sure I'm choosing the right hole there? Yep, okay. And it's just going to slide down through there, and then we are putting this up here and gluing them together. All right. Ooh, that was a little heavy on that. Let's see if we can wipe a little bit of that excess off. Okay, so we got that in there, and we're just going to hold it here. Wipe off a little bit of that excess. Okay, I've got this piece standing up, and it is not quite standing up on its own yet, but I think once I get this next piece in, it can be glued to that, so that will help it stand up, because it's going to be this little piece. And with this, you've got to fish these wires down through this point here. Like that. I don't think we're supposed to be right on the edge, actually, because I believe that that paperboard will go around the outside of it. So right now I am just going to add a little bit of glue to here. Let's get this edge up here as well, just in case. I don't know what's exactly going to make contact. I'm just going to basically line it up. Okay. There we go. Now, we'll see, this may be where we get to the point that we need to take a break. We've got some items to make, quite a few items to make. before final installation. And I'm afraid those may take a little while, so I think I am going to stop for now. This is part 2. We'll move on, and tomorrow I will move on to part 3. And we can finish up with all the decorations and the lighting. And I'm sure that will be the final. Oh, we also need to do the dust cover at that point. But I'm sure that'll be the final video. So we're going to stop here for now. It's time to wrap things up. I hope you stop by again soon. But until then, always remember, pay attention to the little things.